We've, he likes to watch what's going on, and it would be real creepy to be cleaning my living room, and all of a sudden he's looking where I know he wasn't looking before. And we've had guests over who, one individual spent the night on the couch and ended up the next morning he was covered up with a blanket and she was laying in the recliner, so I'm never staying here again.
On this episode of Forgotten Relics, I have an exclusive interview with the lady who owns David the Doll. And on top of that, I have some captivating footage of this doll doing things that, well, to put it simply, defy physics. Okay, so we're talking haunted dolls. Got an interview coming up with a lady who claims her doll from 1987 does some pretty magnificent things. It'll move its head, it'll look around, it'll actually follow you with its eyes. And it also causes things to happen wherever it resides. She currently has it in her store, and I have personally witnessed this doll move its head. Customers in this store have brought it to the attention of management and said that they walked past it, they saw the doll's head actually turn and look at them. This is a 100% porcelain doll. It's not mechanical in any way, so there can't be any kind of malfunction.
This reminds me of that scene in The Goonies when Brad's about to move that rock, and that one girl says, you know, maybe God put that rock there for a reason.
David came into our family in 1987. My son was born in 1987. His name is David. And my mother liked to shop in the small little towns back in the mountains of North Carolina where I came from. And she saw David in a little shop, and just at this David in a little shop, and just absolutely had a fit. Swore up and down that it was the image of my son when he was a baby. The lady who made David made all of her own molds herself, and then she would cast the heads, faces, and hands, and then she would destroy the molds. So this doll is a unique, one-of-a-kind doll, and he does kind of look like my son. And he's been in our family since 1987 when my mom got him. He came to be with us in 2009 when my mother passed away. He was to be handed down to my son, who does not want him. He says that he has named this doll Creepy Doll. And any time in my life when you heard my mom talk about David and you were fairly certain she wasn't talking about my son, this is who she was talking about. A little bit of a creepy relationship going on there. David had to come out of my house because I did not like being watched while doing housework. He's just a creepy little fella. He likes to watch what's going on. Even here in the store, we've had customers, we were standing in front of him talking about him, and he's looking back and forth between them.
So you've seen a little bit of David the doll, and you've heard a little bit about his history and all that stuff. And I asked Miss Barnett if I could take some time to isolate this doll and put a camera on him and just let it run with no human interference whatsoever, and see if I could actually capture this thing moving. Like I said, I've seen it with my own two eyes. Many people testify to this. Like I said earlier in the show, customers of her store have also brought it up. And, you know, that's kind of a bold thing to do. You walk into a store and you see a doll turn its head and look at you, and then do you bring it up to the employees? Do you think they're going to jab you in the neck with some Thorazine? I don't know. So, back to David the doll and my interview with Miss Angie. She talked a lot about the things that David would do.
He's 31 years old now.
All right, so what happened, or what forced you to move him from your house to here?
Well, we'd kept him when we respected him, as I'm sure my mom would appreciate. He likes to watch what's going on, and it would be real creepy to be cleaning my living room, and all of a sudden he's looking where I know he wasn't looking before. And we've had guests over who, one individual spent the night on the couch and ended up the next morning, he was covered up with a blanket and she was laying in her recliner. So I'm never staying here again. That doll has watched me all night. I had to cover it up. So he likes to watch what's going on. He knows when he's being talked about too. He will put on an act when nobody's looking, just so he'll be different when they look again. He just likes to keep up with what's going on.
Now, have you noticed anything weird happen around the store since he's been here?
Oh, there's always weird stuff happening around the store. Strange odors, stuff. We come in the next morning and there's stuff on the floor that we know couldn't get to the floor. There's been weird odors that we've all been scrambling around trying to find, cold spots, stuff moving, stuff falling. Just weird stuff. I hear my name called all over the place and there's nobody where it's coming from. Yeah, there's interesting stuff happens at the store since David's been here.
She did have some paranormal investigations take place at her pack house where she stored a lot of stuff. It's an old Haitian building. There's a lot of history to it, all on its own. I had the luxury of doing some investigative work myself at her pack house, and I filmed some pretty remarkable things. Objects moving, seemingly without any kind of intervention. And I want to show you a lot of that footage today here on Forgotten Relics. So you guys sit back, prepare to be creeped out, hear a little bit more from Angie and her doll David, and then get ready to watch some of what David can do.
What do you think, if David is haunted or possessed or whatever word you want to use, what do you think the origin of that is, or do you even have an opinion on that?
I don't really have one. There's something there. Could it be a little bit of my mom? Who knows? Could it be a little bit of the artist that made him? Who knows? Could it just be somebody that decided they like that vessel and are going to hang out in it and keep up with what's going on in the world? Who knows? I don't have an opinion of what's there or who's there. I just know something's there. But on our property, we have a 130-year-old pack house. And for the longest time, we were using it for the Neighbors for Neighbors indoor yard sales. And I didn't like to go upstairs, and through the years it got worse and worse. And then one day my husband had to go up there with me because I had to go upstairs and do something in the pack house, but I wouldn't go up there by myself. So he went up there with me, and as we were coming down, I was pushed. If he hadn't been standing there, I would have fallen. But I was pushed, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back right there. I called some friends of mine who are in the paranormal field, and we got it set up for them to come do an investigation, and we caught some really, really wild footage. Golf clubs can't dance, we know that, but they do. Boots just suddenly deciding to fly.
Can you throw something again?
Jesus.
Throw something again?
Jesus. All right, my friends, you just checked out some more of Miss Angela Barnett's interview concerning her doll, David. And you just seen some pretty wicked paranormal footage. Dude, what is it, man? What is it? Every time you do some kind of paranormal show, I mean, weird sounds and stuff just got to start happening. And I'm not even adding this into post-production. I haven't even got there yet. Yeah, I'm going to add some creepy music and stuff, but weird pops and sounds and everything else going off. I got to keep watching my back too, man. My buddy's back there. He ain't my buddy. Anyway, so we've been talking dolls, creepy dolls, herpes simplex, Pee Wee Herman. But the really interesting footage that I want to show you with David, and I kind of saved it for last, because this is straight out of a horror movie, literally. And I've added some sounds to it, some music and stuff to make it even creepier. But like I suggested earlier, I isolated him to a room without human intervention, and I left a camera on him all day. And this is what happened. Thank you guys for watching Forgotten Relics. Today's episode was a lot of fun for me, as if you couldn't tell. But on a serious note, we've covered a lot of things that many of you out there are scratching your head about. Many of you believe, and many of you instantly scream fake. And that's okay. I would do the same thing. But we have to remember that our science is heavily rooted in human arrogance. And when you really think about it, to try to base everything on our own science, on our own physics, is just ridiculous. You can't do that. There are things out there that we cannot explain. There are things out there yet to be discovered. There are things out there yet to be measured by not only our human science, but a science we have yet to really uncover.